Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we've got some green on the board, and XRP, it looks like, is leading the charge, and Stellar right behind it. I like the looks of that. CoinPaprika.com, one of my sponsors. Okay, Crypto Bull. I love it when he puts out these bold tweets. The XRP chart is showing a massive breakout in the future. We're repeating a falling wedge on the monthly chart. Last time this happened, we exploded by 90,000%. Boy, if there's anything that looks thumbnail worthy, that looks thumbnail worthy. This time the falling wedge is much bigger, however. Okay, look at this. This tweet caught my attention right here. I'm hearing rumors of a pending coordinated action by the World Economic Forum et al. To crush gold and silver to eliminate any alternatives to their CBDC. One could argue that they've already done that. In my humble opinion, it would take much more sense to send precious metals skyward. Then this person says gold becomes even more valuable in a CBDC world. I agree, which is why they would want to limit its ownership by the masses by making it unaffordable and unobtainable. This is why one of my sponsors is Glint, folks. This way I can have gold in my Glint account. So I use my MasterCard debit card to spend my gold on meals or groceries if I need to. And I also get physical gold too. But the link to this will be in the top of the description of this video. Go click on Glint, my sponsor up there. Now, Charles Gasparino breaking. U.S. investment bankers tell Fox Business Swiss National Bank has weighed merging Credit Suisse with another bank such as UBS. Unclear if there's official talks or this is just rumblings about growing consensus. There isn't a need for both institutions competing over the same turf. John Deaton says the sleuths are the best. Coffee was the lead plaintiff versus Tezos in 2017 and Ripple in 2018. Coffee held on to XRP for like 12 days and lost less than $600. He blamed Ripple because he said he relied on their efforts and expected profits, and he didn't make any. Wheezy had put this out. Here's the document naming Ryan Coffey. Now think about this, folks. Ryan Coffey is the lead plaintiff in a lawsuit versus Tezos, and then he's a lead plaintiff in a lawsuit versus Ripple. What is going on here? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are going to see this and rightfully so say, what? We might need to look into this. Okay, then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Mike Novogratz has popped up, and he hasn't been around for a little while. And then I'm going to show you one of the things I remember that Mike Novogratz said recently.
You just said you want to own hard assets, you want to own things like Bitcoin, but the truth is Bitcoin has acted basically like a risk asset, and actually I would make the argument that if you look at where real estate is in many parts of the country, take the rental piece out of it, that's also come down in large part in harmony with what we're starting to see in the equity markets.
I think you're getting it backwards. Listen, Bitcoin, people say, was it an inflation hedge? When we worried about inflation, you could have bought Bitcoin at 10,000 and it went to 70. So it was a spectacular inflation hedge. When Powell started beating inflation over the head with a sledgehammer, of course, Bitcoin came back down, as did lots of assets. If he flinches, if he gives up this fight in inflation before inflation comes down, which is what Barry's hoping for and advocating, you're going to see Bitcoin and other assets take right back off.
On the Bitcoin.
I agree with him there, but here's what I was remembered about one of his predictions. This was what Mike Novogratz said in June. This was June 12th. He said, Mike Novogratz predicts next crypto cycle will begin in October. And I said here, one thing I've learned about Mike Novogratz, he doesn't bet dimes to donuts unless he has info the rest of us don't have. He just showed up on CNBC today after being quiet for a good while. This article is from June. He predicted October. So October prediction would be the ultimate thumbnail there because it's a true story. October prediction. And now he's here on the scene. All right. Now, I'm going to play at least part of this. But if for some reason this is a copyright thing, I'll take it out and you can go and check it out on Watcher Guru. This is Coinbase has put out a crypto movie that's called Coin, I believe. It's coming out on video on demand on Friday. The digital asset investor will be watching it.
Of the 90% of people who have heard of cryptocurrency, there's a small minority who have a glimpse of the larger picture.
There's this new technology.
There's Katie Holm.
It's crazy.
There's Brian
One
Brooks.
way to conceive of Bitcoin is it's the technology that allows us to move money over the internet.
It's a beautiful thing. You just have to trust the code.
2010, I happened to come across the Bitcoin white paper. In the evenings and weekends, I started tinkering. The big idea was make Bitcoin easier to use. I thought, maybe I'm crazy. This could have an enormous impact on the world.
Going public is for founders what winning an Academy Award is for an...
All right, I'm not going to play any more of it, but that looks like an interesting movie. Now, Fortune put this out about Gary Gensler's thing yesterday, and he said it's basically a stunt. The SEC's Kardashian fine was a dumb publicity stunt. And they're talking about how people on Twitter pointed out this promotion was from June 2021 and their fine matters little. Basically, that the SEC didn't help to prevent Terra Luna or Celsius, and now he's doing some symbolic thing. Then Eleanor Terrett had a tweet on this today. Former SEC lawyer tells me Kim Kardashian was an easy target for Gary Gensler to generate publicity that the SEC is protecting investors from illicit crypto schemes. His goal in part is to prove the SEC should have at least equal jurisdiction with the FTC on regulating crypto as Congress looks to determine who should be the principal regulator. This lawyer tells me the SEC likely used Kardashian's ambitions to become a lawyer against her. By paying a fine and not admitting wrongdoing, she's protecting her ability to be admitted to the California bar, which requires an applicant to have good moral character. The lawyer also says Kardashian may be used as a witness into an ongoing, possibly criminal investigation into Ethereum Max and its creators' promoters. I saw the tweet that she got in trouble for, and it's like... my 10-year-old could have figured out that something like that was pretty scammy. I mean, it's not, this is one of those instances where she deserved to be gone after on something like that. We don't promote tokens on this channel. If I talk about a token, like for instance XRP, which this channel is built around, I am not getting paid to talk about a token. That's something that... all of that stuff is pumpy and dumpy, and that's the reason that I've stayed away from it from the beginning of this channel, because that just smelled like trouble. Okay, XRP, the SEC opposes the iRemit and TapJet's motions to file amicus brief, claiming proposed briefs are improper attempts to offer evidence outside the constraints of discovery. I'm not going to go much into that. I do want to go into this, though. Here's Glenn Beck on his show.
Remember when we said that the global derivatives market after 2008 started going back up again, and it surpassed what happened in 2008, and the global derivatives market was about $100 trillion, and we were like, $100 trillion, that's horrible, and we raised the alarm. They haven't learned anything. In fact, it's gotten worse. Then it rose to $500 trillion just a couple of years ago, and we raised the alarm again. Any idea where the derivatives market is right now? After 2 years of pandemic, 2 years of Biden inflation, and after stocks have lost 20% of their value since January, where's the derivative market? $1 quadrillion.
Folks, let me ask you a question. What if the government knows exactly what they're doing? Remember, the financial crisis was the turning point. The financial crisis is where Bitcoin hatched out of the financial crisis. We've been talking about this 1 quadrillion for 4 years on this channel now. What if they knew exactly what was going to happen? And what if they created a solution?
Central banks with greater adoption rates around the concept of using digital assets as reserve currencies. And then I think we will see derivatives markets start to explode in 2020 and beyond. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the derivatives markets outpace spot by 2x by the end of 2020. And then to an early...
What if they planned all of it?
And finally, the last part, smart contracts. So big, believers that also smart contracts will play a key role. Our bet would be on a technology called Codius, kind of a derivative of Intraledger. The differences here between, and so we're already getting some really good scale. The differences here between, let's say, smart contracts on Ether, which have to be on that blockchain, using that currency, using a specific language, is it's completely neutral. It can be used, again, on any blockchain. It can be used as a hosting protocol. It can use any language. It can use any currency. So we think that's going to be an important last component. We think all three of those things, the blockchains, the interoperability, and the smart contracts, equal an internet of value. I don't know if you want to use an analogy. I guess the blockchains are like these new fancy ports. Intraledger is like the shipping container, and I guess the smart contracts are like the robots, moving around the port, I guess, if you want to use that same analogy. And we think that this now becomes the platform for tons of other things, right? So when we're talking about lending, we're talking about securities, those really can't happen until you get the fundamentals of that payment platform, that internet of value completed. So I know we're just about out of time, and I do apologize. I've got to race back up to the city for another event I'm going to be super late for. But I'd rather thank you all for being here today.
All the money, folks, right here. This is from, I showed you, I think yesterday, Kendra Hill, who disappeared from social media. What is Codius? Codius is the most advanced smart contract platform that will ever exist. The project was said to be put on hold in 2015. That was a lie. I'm not saying that's a lie. That's what she said. It was never put on hold. Codius will be a smart contract with integrated payment processing and a variety of privacy options. One more time. Codius will be a smart contract platform that offers multiple privacy options if required and payment processing integration. No other platform can compare. No other platform will have direct connection to the world banking system. XRP and Codius are going to be used to manage the entire 1 quadrillion derivatives market. XRP is not a currency. It is a store of value, digital gold. I have a notebook with Ripple's entire agenda. Folks, we've been talking about that 1 quadrillion for years. Remember, in the financial crisis of 2008, I was there, folks. I remember it. It was painful. In that financial crisis, there was no safe haven. Everything went down, even gold, silver, just like it's all been going down recently. And here's my point. What if they planned for the next financial crisis? Hell, they've said it. We've shown the video on this channel. What if they had a plan for it? What if for the first time in the next financial crisis, when it really hits, you have the utility digital assets turned on and all of the money. Now think about this for a minute, folks. Imagine in the first financial crisis, everybody was looking for the exits, and the only exit available was really cash. But what if in the next financial crisis you had a dollar problem at the same time, and they wanted to redesign the system, but there was an exit because all of a sudden you had digital assets with utility that in essence had a floor, so that while all other assets were going down, the money could flood into these new digital assets that because of the utility, because of them being used daily for payments around the world, there was a floor, and then speculation could bounce up and down on top of that floor, and the utility made it a safe haven. And I'm not saying just XRP, multiple digital assets with real utility. What if? Stefan Huber, bingo. For the first time since the lawsuit, Ripple, ODL, and XRP appeared in an SEC filing. In Infinite Acquisitions filing from Thursday last week, the company shows the SEC how Tranglo entered into a strategic partnership with Ripple to use ODL and XRP for cross-border payments. And they even had a diagram in there. And finally, Mark Andreessen did an entire thread on what he's been up to. I retweeted it and said, have you talked to Bill Hinman lately? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and ask Mark Andreessen if he's talked to Bill Hinman lately. Thanks for listening.